Well, blessings, everybody. We continue looking at Ahaz. We saw last time that Ahaz was an evil king. But just because somebody's an evil king, that doesn't mean that God doesn't bring the word, particularly a corrective word, and try to show them what's going on. Be certain you read these passages out of Isaiah. This is a chapter plus a few verses more. It's a very, very interesting story. Read it and then come back and we'll look at it. So here's what's going on. Isaiah the prophet received visions and words from the Lord during the time of the reigns of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. Ahaz had heard that Rezin of Aram and Pekah of Israel were gathering against Israel. We talked about that in the last video. He'd heard about this, and his heart and the heart of the people shook with fear. They were terrified. A conspiracy had actually formed between Aram and Israel against Assyria. Assyria is further north and to the east. And they were trying to get Judah to come and be a part of it, but Judah refused to do it. So the Lord sent Isaiah to tell Ahaz what would happen. And Isaiah was told to take his son, Shear-Jashub. That's an interesting name, isn't it? The name literally means a remnant shall return. So while Isaiah is saying these words to Ahaz, his son, a remnant shall return, was literally speaking forth by just his presence there with his name. So Isaiah told Ahaz to fear not the plans of Rezin and Pekah. They were actually planning to overthrow him and to install Tabeel as a king of Judah and then have him join their conspiracy. But God said it would not succeed. The Lord had promised David that David's descendants would sit on the throne of Judah if they walk before God in truth with all their heart and soul. Now we have seen that Ahaz was not doing this. But Isaiah came in and told him and prophesied that Ephraim, representing the northern kingdom, would no longer be a people in 65 years and that God was going to shatter them for their sins because they had forsaken the Lord. And then Isaiah told Ahaz, you know what? That if you do not believe the word of the Lord, you will not last also. Ahaz did not believe, and he lasted not. So Isaiah told Ahaz, if you don't believe me, ask the Lord for a sign. Well, Ahaz refused in his false pride, piety and religious spirit. So the Lord said, I will give you myself a sign. And a sign is to show what the Lord is going to do. He says, I'm going to prove to you by giving you a sign, then you will know when it occurs. And the sign was that a virgin will conceive. Well, we've all heard that passage before, but now you know the context of it, okay? And this thing has what's called a near and a far fulfillment. Literally, a virgin, someone is a young maid of a marriageable age, would conceive and would bear a son named Emmanuel, God with us. It would happen during that time, yes. You did a cross-reference in your homework in Matthew 1, and we see that the far fulfillment of this was manifest in the Lord Jesus Christ, okay? And so what was being said in the near fulfillment in the time of this king was that by the time this son reached the age of knowing the difference between good and evil, Aram and Israel would be forsaken. And then another message came to Isaiah. And Isaiah was told to name his next son Maher-Shalal-Hash-Baz. What a name. Swift as to booty and speedy as to prey. The whole idea being this, that before that son reached the age to speak, Assyria would carry away Damascus and Israel. And it would happen very, very quickly. And then again, Isaiah speaks of Judah, speaks of the land of the boy of Emmanuel, and he says this, since Judah has rejected God, the gently flowing rivers of Shiloah, and they will rejoice in what Assyria would do to Rezin and Pekah, in other words, what's going to happen to them, God says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to bring the king of Assyria against you too. That's the strong waters of Euphrates. But God said this, I have plans. Now, the plans against Judah, they will be thwarted and won't stand, but you will undergo persecutions and hard times because of it. He's showing that God is with Judah in the same way God is with us. We are to rejoice, we're to fear not, particularly as we continue on in these last days. Fear not, the Lord is with us. Thank you for being with me, and I'll see you again next time. Goodbye.